Hello and welcome to another edition of Marvel vs. DC vs. TVE. I am your host, Will Rory, the Keeper of Comics. Joining me tonight is Tyson Gifford, the Editor-in-Chief of TVEnthusiast.
Hello, everybody.
And tonight we're going to be discussing the latest episodes of the shows in the Marvel and DC television pantheon. Namely, Legends of Tomorrow and the return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
The return.
which arrives because now Agent Carter has ended. And so basically that's it. Because Flash and Arrow are still on their hiatus and Daredevil's not out yet. So let's get to it. Let's discuss Legends of Tomorrow, the latest episode of that, where they go to Pleasantville, basically. Tobey Maguire's there. No.
This might be my favorite episode of the show. And this is, I think the first one that really nailed, the era.
This is definitely the most creative episode so far.
I don't know if I like the general plot, as far as the people being turned into it kind of made it feel like a little one-off episode, which wasn't great. But right. I think, the thing I was most excited about with Legends of Tomorrow was the time travel aspect. And This is the first episode that they really nailed the era.
Yeah.
Where it's when they did the 70s, it's this is the 70s, but might as well be now. And then they did the 80s, and it's this is the 80s, might as well be now, but a little bit of Russian culture.
And then they did the future, and it's meh.
And it's it might as well be Arrow Season 2.
Yeah, it might as well be Arrow Season 2. Yeah.
It's just an apocalyptic present. It's not really futuristic, Yeah,
it's not really futuristic.
So this is the first one where, it really felt okay, this is the 50s. This feels like the 50s. They got the kind of, and they addressed the kind of racial issues and, sexism and the whole kind of lesbian side. Was I the only one, or were you also getting because we've been watching 11/22/63 as well?
I know.
So were you thinking 11/22/63 the whole time we're watching this? That while this is my favorite of Legend Tomorrow because the way they nailed the era, I kept thinking it's kind of better in 11/22/63.
That's what I was thinking. I was this is done better in 11/22/63. Kept expecting James Franco to pop up. One of the absolute delights was Vandal Savage in this episode.
that made it good because he doesn't know any of the other legends. Except for, he knows, what's his name, Rip.
He knows Rip.
And Hot Girl, he thinks she isn't awakened yet. So they're having very pleasant encounters between them. Because he's not playing up being a villain.
He's not playing up. He's playing up being a suburban, freaking, the suburban guy in the 50s.
Making tuna casserole.
Making tuna casserole. It's so funny, knowing who he is. And even with his, goofy accent and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
And this is probably the best version of his character, too.
Yeah.
I think, and I've read somewhere else where somebody had mentioned this, that he works better, his kind of, cartoonish performance works better playing this kind of mad scientist type role than it does playing this megalomaniac world domination guy,
Right, exactly.
So this version of Vandal Savage was much more entertaining than the other versions we've seen.
This was clearly modeled to be this episode was clearly modeled after to be one of those B horror movies you'd see in
the Blob and
the Blob and stuff. Right down, it had all the elements. It had the creatures. It had the mad scientist.
They even directly referenced the whole creatures thing with Jax talking about. I used to watch these movies with my mom. It always ends up with people being attacked by aliens at the makeout point or whatever. Which is exactly what happened.
They touch on Yeah, it touches on the racism, the sexism.
Sarah's relationship with the homophobia in the 50s was really cool.
That was really cool. Yeah, they touched on the homophobia using Sarah, who's bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
She has a relationship with the nurse in the hospital. And there's a subplot about that. And there was this one funny scene where Sarah tells Stein to get her coffee.
Oh yeah, when he says use a coffee and she's all, me too, black, no sugar or no sugar.
Yeah, me too, black.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Stein starts waxing poetic about the era, like he starts being like really nostalgic, and Jax is like, it's only nostalgic for white straight dudes.
Oh, yeah, he said idyllic. Yeah, he said you have to admit the era is idyllic, and he's like, maybe if you're white, and Sarah's like, and male and straight.
Yeah. And he's like,
that was really funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is definitely the best episode so far, and it was directed by Joe Dante, who famously directed Gremlins. So I mean, they got somebody that's done a creature flick, you know.
And this definitely does seem like something Joe Dante would make, you know,
even more than enjoying Legends of Tomorrow. It makes me wish that Joe Dante would have his own TV show.
It does. It happen. Without spoiling too much, they were turning teenagers into like these hawk creatures using a meteorite similar to the meteor that gave Vandal Savage his powers, and also gave Hawkgirl and Hawkman their powers. Except this meteorite turns people into like freaks. It's instead of like anything cool like immortality. And Vandal Savage decides he could use this to create an army of hawk creatures to help him in his world-conquering goals.
I'm just getting like Flash Gordon flashbacks, you know? Imagining an army of Hawkmen. Hawkmen!
Yeah, I know. Hawkmen! Assemble! Jax gets turned into one of them, but they cure him pretty quickly in the episode. I mean, they come up with a solution pretty damn quick for this.
I think they did a good job with Jax and his kind of love interest aspect, where it kind of was a love interest, kind of wasn't. It was more almost like a friendship interest with that girl, you know, because she's clearly still like mourning the loss of her boyfriend, who's not really dead, but you know, like something happened to him and she doesn't know.
But Jax comes along and really impresses her.
Yeah. And I like the way they use the whole fries in the milkshake thing as a way of kind of like addressing like interracial relationships.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like he's all, well, you know, you never know until you try it. And she dips the fry in the milkshake and it's like, this is really good, you know, and it's these two things that aren't supposed to go together, but they go together just fine, you know? And I thought that was a really kind of cool parallel that I didn't even notice until I was like writing up my show notes, and I was like, oh, I should mention the fries in the milkshake line, and then like it hit me all of a sudden, like, oh. Like that was actually kind of clever.
That was actually kind of clever. The episode ends where Ray. There was also another plot with Ray and Kendra, who had
interracial,
who had like a romantic moment in the last episode. They had like a little kiss. They end up posing as an interracial married couple, which is interesting considering that there's already romantic tension between them two for real, and now they're playing husband and wife. And Ray kind of like loses himself in this fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray gets like really lost in his fantasy to the point where like he gets like really overprotective of Kendra.
Yeah, Ray belongs in the 50s.
He does.
He's such a Boy Scout, you know, like he fits that like 50s. It's like the idyllic nature of the 50s. If you just turn a blind eye to like the racism and sexism and homophobia, that idyllic sense of the 50s, even though Stein was the one that seemed to be all excited about it, Ray's the one that like, he is that. you know?
Yeah, Ray fits in to the 50s more than anybody there.
Yeah.
And and then you had like Rip Hunter and you had Snart posing as FBI agents. They didn't really do much this episode, I thought.
They didn't do a lot, but I really like Snart as a fake FBI agent.
Yeah, I know, I did. I like Snart too.
His kind of like his edge kind of worked, you know, in that sense.
There were some aspects of like Snart being redeemed as a character to where Snart actually like saves Jax.
Well, Jax is just being douchey through the whole episode to Snart, being like, you know, disappeared. You mean kind of like Mickey, or?
yeah, I know. He's like being like a douche, like Mick. It's like, yeah. And so Snart actually ends up saving Jax, and then there's like, well, you know, you're not a monster because this, you know, and I should know because I was actually turned into a monster. And it's,
that's his great his great point of reference.
Yeah, I know.
I was physically altered to look like a monster, therefore I now understand that you're not a monster.
Yeah, I know. Therefore not.
Yeah, but overall, I really like the episode.
Yeah, the episode ends with Ray, Kendra, and Sarah. I think that's all of them. Ray, Kendra, and Sarah getting stranded in the 50s because before they can get back on the Rave Rider is attacked by Kronos, the bounty hunter.
He just pops up randomly from time to time.
Yeah, he just pops up randomly. He's like, I'm Kronos. And he attacks the Wave Rider, and then the Wave Rider like leaves.
They should make Kronos like a Pokemon, like have him come in and just yell his name, Kronos, and start attacking them.
No. It comes up and says a wild Kronos attacks.
Yeah. They escaped the 50s. It was super effective.
Yeah.
Oops, they left behind 3 members of their crew. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. And it also leaves that opening for Sarah to kind of more explore her relationship with the nurse that was hooking up with.
Yeah, so it leaves her open to explore that more.
And Ray's probably like, drat, we're stuck in the 50s.
Oh, darn. With Vandal Savage just gets blown out a window. I mean, I don't know. That's not going to do anything to him. I don't know how that, like, finished that part of the episode, but okay.
He seems to like he gets defeated, and instead of staying there and attacking back or something, he just kind of like, he's all, well, I guess that's it for this, Sarah. I'm going to take off and go somewhere else.
Yeah, very good. Darn, that's it. I got knocked out a window. My life is over.
Time to move to where was he in the 60s? Or the 70s? Yeah, so time to move to Russia. I got knocked out a window. It's time to move to Russia and help them make a super weapon.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god. So that's basically Legends of Tomorrow. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I mean, just as I said before, like, I've slacked it off a few times in the discussion, but this was probably my favorite episode. I think that the whole kind of the Hawk people thing was a little bit on the lame side, but if you just kind of like let that be this like episodic plot element and just kind of focus on everything else happening, it was by far my favorite episode of the series so far, and they finally nailed an era when they represented it, which was really cool, which made the time travel thing finally felt like it's a time travel show for like the first time since they started it.
Right. So I hope this is the point where they're just going all in and they're just gonna like, we're gonna be all about like cool random shit.
We got to see him in like the Napoleonic era, and
you gotta see him fight dinosaurs.
Yeah. It's all got to be there, right? You know.
It's all gotta be there, right? Let's go full Doctor Who with this thing. Come on, you know.
Yeah, seriously.
I think we're getting there now with like the 1950s and Hawk people. So let's do this. Let's go all in.
Oh, definitely. I think this episode has made me more excited for the series in general. So that's good.
Definitely. So next up, we have the return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from its mid-season break. Last time, where we left off, they were on the planet Malith, I believe.
Let's see.
The place was called
Mavith, I think.
I knew it was something like that. Anyway, they were on the planet Mavith, where Coulson had finally taken down Ward, and it looked like they took down that creature that was on that planet, but not
such a cool
quite.
takedown on Ward, by the way. The chest crushing was awesome.
The chest crushing was awesome, but not quite, because in a bizarre way, both Ward and the creature are back.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's just the creature in Ward's body, but still.
But Ward's all goth now, so.
Yeah, Ward's all goth. Start listening to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Well, Ward is the creature now, or the creature is Ward, however you want to state that. But
it was finally revealed exactly what the creature is, too, by the way. Yeah. That wasn't in the show, but in an interview, the showrunner said that they confirmed it is Hive, which in the comic books was like a creature created by Hydra, but they're doing it a little differently this time, making it like this creature that's kind of like the root of Hydra's existence.
Yeah, the root of Hydra's existence. So anyway, so Hive is weak. Hive needs food, needs to recuperate. Apparently, according to Malik, this thing's been half starved for like over a century, because he said, they couldn't really feed it except for like the few people they managed to send over there. So it's actually been pretty weak this whole time, even though we've always seen it as this powerful force. So it's going to need some time to recuperate. In the meanwhile, there's a thief in Colombia stealing guns, and she seems to have superpowers, so it's up to the S.H.I.E.L.D. team to investigate and take her down.
She's the Flash! She's the female speedster that they're talking about in the previews for the next episode of The Flash.
Basically, not quite like the Flash. She can move fast, but apparently she can only move from point A to point B and then back to point B again. So basically, she's Slingshot.
Yeah, Slingshot is the character, but they jokingly call her Yo-Yo, which was actually, I guess, the character's real name in the comics was Yo-Yo.
Yeah, so Yo-Yo. I thought of a cool thing, because at one point she mentioned she can go any distance as long as it's within one heartbeat. And I thought, one heartbeat. Her superhero name should be Heartbeat.
Okay, Cisco.
I know, right? That's totally what Cisco would have came up with. But no, it's Yo-Yo apparently. But so she's stealing guns from the police. The police claim they need the guns to stop the rogue Inhumans. But it turns out that the police are corrupt, and she's stealing the guns to destroy them, so that corrupt police officers cannot have them to terrorize her people. S.H.I.E.L.D. finds this out. They team up with her against the corrupt police. The corrupt police have their own Inhuman, who has like a sort of a Medusa-like power, because his gaze turns anyone into like, they paralyzes them and they become like gray, like they're stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not really stone, but they look like raw.
They look raw. To me they look like they were like corpses. More like corpses to me. But that's just, I guess that's just, but the effect is supposed to be similar to Medusa.
So, and it's his powers from his eyes, like Medusa.
Like Medusas, yeah. So that happens like Bobby and her boyfriend get caught up in that. They get paralyzed and they get captured. Shield sends in Daisy and the other guy, the Spanish guy who could like melt things.
Who just like makes modern art out of their weapons.
Yeah, he just makes modern art out of the weapons. They go to the Colombian police department and just like take everybody out. They take out Medusa Eyes and they save Bobby and Hunter from them. But then Hydra steals Medusa Eyes right out from under Shield's feet. Clearly Hydra is not done collecting Inhumans. And also that was like kind of like the B plot this episode, right? Because like the main plot this episode was more like about Coulson, and he's still upset about the murder of his one true love.
So he's hunting Malik.
Yeah, he's hunting Malik. So he's on Malik's trail, and to that end he brings in a comatose, the
kid, the Baron von Strucker's son.
Yeah, Baron von Strucker's son. He brings in Baron von Strucker's son, who is comatose at this point, but if anybody has any information about Malik, it would be him. And they bring out a pretty old tool to jog Tahiti to jog his memory. And they use a little enhanced method here because they actually use Jackson.
Lincoln.
Yeah. Lincoln. Jackson. Why did I say Jackson?
You're thinking of Legends of Tomorrow still.
Yeah, I am. I'm like, come on. They use Lincoln's like electric powers to jog his memory, basically.
Because he's kind of in this kill me loop.
Kill me loop, and they can't get him out of it. And so it gives Coulson a clue where to find Malik. Not really where to find Malik, but where to find a phone to get a direct line to Malik's cell phone, apparently.
And he screws over Malik's business interest a bit.
Yeah, he basically backtraces the call to like a bunch of places, forcing Malik to close a bunch of his offices, which causes his business, the stocks in his business to free fall. Malik admits, oh yeah, I'll lose a few $1 million, but I got bigger things happening, so it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And Malik is right. He has bigger things. He has Hive, basically.
Plus, he's got Donald Trump running for office.
And he's got Donald Trump running for office. Another thing is, the president of the United States pays Coulson a visit, and basically authorizes Shield to do whatever off the record. Mm-hmm. Basically, like Coulson asks him, "Are you reinstating Shield?" And he's like, "No, Shield should stay secret."
This is the president who showed up in Iron Man 3, and we saw him before, and just briefly in the last half of the season. So this is like the most we've gotten of him since Iron Man 3.
This is the most we've gotten of this guy since Iron Man 3. And he basically has he says like, basically the plan is Shield will be able to work with complete autonomy in secret, while like the public face is going to be the ACTU still, but the ACTU is going to be an agency working underneath Shield.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the public's concerned, the ACTU is the acting authority, and there is no shield. So that's basically the idea. The president says he's going to appoint a new head of the ACTU who's going to work under Coulson, and then surprise when this person turns out to be Glenn Talbot.
Yep.
Not a big fan of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Coulson, and Coulson isn't a big fan of him.
Coulson's like, oh boy.
Oh boy, but the president assures him, oh no, he's working for you now, so don't worry. It's like, this is going to be a treat. I just know it.
I like the actor, so it'd be cool to see. I like him in that role, too, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. I like to see that they're keeping this character and around because I think he's a fun character, at least with this actor, the way this actor portrays him. Mm-hmm. I think it's been really fun. We also see Fitz and Simmons starting their relationship from scratch. Agreeing to be like, okay, let's start over.
Which is better than Fitz just constantly worrying that he killed Will and not talking to us.
Oh my God, I killed Will. It's like, Coulson even says it. He's like, sometimes, it's part of the job. Shut up.
And Simmons is like, he was already dead.
Yeah, he was already dead. Coulson says, stop being a baby about it. It's like, seriously, Fitz, get over it.
What else we got? Oh, May talked to Coulson after Coulson was struggling with what he had done on the other planet, and May said, "You've joined the cavalry."
You've joined the cavalry, and Coulson got a new hand, like a more realistic hand now.
Yeah, which is just basically so that Clark Gregg doesn't have to like pull his arm up into his sleeve anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's like,
it'll be cool if there's like all sorts of little like gadget functions, like his finger splits open and the gun barrel comes out. They can do all sorts of like little weird things, and they will to some extent.
Oh yeah, they will. So he'll be coming. I hope they don't make Coulson Inspector Gadget. Holy shit!
He's all like the telephone with the antenna that sticks out of his thumb.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, they recruit Yo-Yo, although she wants to stay in Columbia and she doesn't really want anything much to do with S.H.I.E.L.D. She just wants to help out.
They're all like, okay, well, if you're not going to join S.H.I.E.L.D., then here's the consolation prize. A new Apple Watch.
Yeah, a new Apple Watch. So call us if you need any help, or if we need help, we'll call you. Yeah. So you might appear on an episode 2 seasons from now.
So now they're the Secret Warrior Avengers. It's like they're going to do their own thing and then all come together.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, what else? Oh yeah, the episode ends with Hive promising to make a believer out of Malik by making a believer out of Malik's Inhuman. And then we show Hive like using his freaky deaky powers, but we don't see what it does or what happens.
Sand flesh or whatever. I know in the comics, because I read up on it, that Hive like puts out spores that connect to people and they can control them or something. So I don't know if that's what it's going to be, but he kind of like shot off his skin cells like sand, which is kind of creepy.
He shot off his like sand, which is creepy, and he does it towards the camera. So we don't, and it ends right there too. So we don't know like what that does or what that even is. And it's like, okay, guess we gotta wait till next week.
Let's see. We got a little bit of news about Titus Welliver. Yeah, the Man in Black on Lost. Yeah. Is going to be reprising his role as Agent Blake in the series now. I don't even remember him being in season. He was in season 1 apparently. I don't even remember that.
I don't remember that. I don't remember Agent Blake, so I have no comment on this because I'm just Agent Blake. Okay, yep.
I just like Titus Welliver, so that's going to be cool.
So what do you think about that Civil War trailer?
Civil War. That trailer's cool. I don't know. I don't like it as much as the last trailer. The last trailer hit so many emotional chords with me. I really loved how it went down. I'm not like downing this trailer or saying like I have any. I'm actually more psyched for Civil War after this trailer than I was before, just because it's getting closer, But the last trailer hit so many of the strong, like, emotional cues that this trailer was more like a feature trailer. It was more like, oh, here's some more cool stuff to look at, you know?
Right.
Which was cool, particularly the ending. But the emotional side hit more with the first trailer. And so that's the one that got me more. But I definitely did love the trailer. And of course, the end. Hey, guys.
Oh my god, I actually hated that part. I was like, hey guys. It's like, okay, yep.
I kind of like that it's unassuming. I don't know, like, necessarily about the voice or whatever, but I kind of like the unassuming nature of it. Like, it's this big tense battle, and then his introduction is like, oh, hey there.
I see, like, it didn't work for me. Like, the unassuming part didn't work for me because he had just stole Captain America's shield and essentially handcuffed him, and then he's all like, hey guys. Like, you just attacked Captain America. You can't be casual after that. You can't come in and be like, sup. It's like, no.
Do you think that's his first appearance in the movie? Do you think that's his first appearance in the movie, or do you think we're going to see him before?
I think that's his first appearance in the movie because it seems like the scene seems like it's set up because Tony Stark just says under ruse, and then Spider-Man pops out. Captain America looks completely caught off guard, like he doesn't know what the hell this is.
Which, by the way, was my favorite part of the trailer, was just Tony Stark saying under ruse.
I know. I'm like, oh god, under ruse.
Wow, I'm losing my patience now. Under ruse.
Yeah. It was cool. I love Spidey's look in the new MCU Spidey. I love his costume, clearly inspired by like the classic '60s Spider-Man more than anything.
And they're going Deadpool style with his eyes, which is cool.
Yep.
I think some people are a little turned off by that, but the thing is, I think that if anybody's seen Deadpool, the way they did the eyes thing, it's like, well, of course Deadpool's kind of comedic, so it can get away with it better. But even with that being the case, you seriously just forget that the eyes are animating within like 2 minutes of seeing it. And then it's just like, it ends up serving as like a tool to help show the character's emotion, but you're not really thinking about the fact that they're animating. Like, it doesn't take you out of it. And in Deadpool, they could have had it take you out of it in a funny way. But even then, it doesn't take you out of it. It just adds to his ability to emote even within a mask. So I think the same thing's going to happen here where, his eyes are moving. You're going to forget that that's happening within minutes of seeing it. And you're just going to be able to attach more emotionally to the character just because of that extra emotion coming through the mask.
Right. Definitely. I agree. Aside from Spider-Man, the entire rest of that trailer was freaking hype. This whole movie looks freaking hype. Even if Spider-Man wasn't in it. And it's odd, too, because as exciting as it is to see Spider-Man in this, that was probably like the least exciting moment in the trailer. For me, at least. Because this movie is just going to be that amazing.
You know what? It's the Captain America movies have like the best action of all the Marvel movies.
It does.
And it's because it looks almost realistic. Like, even in the first Captain America movie, when he first gets like transformed, and then he's chasing the guy down the street and he's like running as fast as cars, but it's not like he's running like Flash style. It's not like some weird effect. It's like he's just running, but they make it look like he's running really fast, And, but they make it look kind of natural, which is like really cool, and it made him look really powerful. And of course, I just rewatched Winter Soldier recently, and there's like all sorts, with the fight scenes between, Bucky and Captain, when he did like drop kicks them into the car and stuff. They really make like all these like kind of simple moves that could be kind of ordinary, just like they ramp up the power in such a way that just looks really cool. And we're seeing that again, like most particularly, I think, with like Black Panther chasing Bucky.
Oh, Black Panther, like all the scenes of Black Panther fighting Bucky were like hype as heck.
Yeah, with Black Panther and Captain both running like super fast.
Yeah.
It just looked amazing. Like, it looks so cool. And I'm like, oh, man, Black Panther's looking awesome. And that outfit, man, that Black Panther costume is so cool.
That is so cool.
I love the little, like, metal traces on it.
I'm not going to speculate on anything that's happening in this trailer. I don't want to speculate because stuff I'm thinking could be correct, and then that might inadvertently turn into spoilers. It's like, nope. So won't do that. But I'm so super. This is like if I had a choice, I could only see one movie this year, and every other movie would be canceled and never come out. This would be the movie I would choose to watch. For
this year, definitely, yeah.
At the expense of everything else.
I 100% agree, especially, just this year in general. Because, like, if we counted next year as well, I might be struggling between this and, like, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which I'm so hyped for just because of how good the first one was. But if you're just going by this year, then yeah, I am super hyped for Civil War more than anything else. Yeah. Way more than Batman versus Superman. Just way more.
Just way more. Exactly. Way more. So that brings us to the end of another episode of TVE versus Marvel versus DC. I was your host, Will Rohrig, the Keeper of the Comics. TV enthusiast editor-in-chief, Tyson Gifford, joined me tonight.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening.
So, anything you want to plug before we end this tonight?
Just the site, TVEnthusiast.com. And, oh yeah, we should talk about Daredevil.
Daredevil, that's right. Next week, we're going to do something a little different. We're not going to be talking about S.H.I.E.L.D. or Legends of Tomorrow, because we're going to make next week's episode Daredevil-centric. So we're going to talk about as much Daredevil as possible. I'm not going to promise, like, we're going to cover the entire series, but we're going to cover as much as we can.
Yeah, we're going to be recording this only 2 days after it comes out.
After it comes out, so it's going to make it a little hard to watch all the episodes. I think there's 13, like last season.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We're just going to push, see how far we can all get. And we're also going to be joined, unless something goes horribly wrong, let's hope it doesn't.
Hopefully by Ed.
Yes.
Who has been a contributor to TV Enthusiast in the past. He was on a recent podcast we did, and he was also, until recently, Film Enthusiast editor-in-chief. He's always a pleasure to have with us, so we are definitely, fingers crossed, hoping he can join us for this, because that's going to make it extra special. And that's about it. Good night.
Night.